Hey guys, Buffalo here. You know, recently I featured some really nice classic 22 rifles here on the channel, and I've really enjoyed them. Hope you guys have too. Problem was, those rifles didn't belong to me, and shooting them got me to wanting one of my own. I decided I wanted a lever action with classic American West styling, and there's several options out there. But when you throw my budget into the mix, one rifle stood out. That's the Henry H001, one of the most popular 22 rifles in America right now. Let's take it over to the table, get a closer look at it. All right guys, so now that we're over here at the table, I'll talk about the rifle and go over some of the specs while I roll in some close-up footage for you guys to take a look at. Of course, it has the American walnut stocks, the straight grip style, cowboy style. I like that on this rifle. Has an 18 1/4 inch blued barrel. The blue is applied very evenly and dark. It looks great. Of course, the 1 in 16 rifling, which is pretty much standard for a 22. It is chambered in 22 short, long, or long rifle, meaning you can make mix and match any of the three. Of course, it'll hold 21 shorts, 17 longs, or 15 long rifle. Now, I haven't seen any longs around for quite a while, so don't even know if they still make longs. I haven't seen any on the shelves, but I still see shorts and long rifle, of course. So you can mix and match those any way you want. The magazine tube, of course, is right under the barrel. Just pull out the rod, drop them in. Drop them in until you see that it's full. You'll see a actual cartridge there. Drop it back down and close it up, and you got the magazine loaded. Now the trigger, I would rate as very good for a rifle like this, especially coming in at under 300 bucks. It breaks consistently at 4 pounds 5 ounces on my Lyman scale. Very, very little take up, no noticeable creep whatsoever. Of course, it does have a little over travel, but you're not waiting on that trigger to reset. You're going to be working that lever, so not a big deal on the over travel. The sights are very basic on this rifle. Your front sight actually serves dual purpose as a band to help support the magazine tube. The sight is made of some sort of metal. I have no idea what kind they use there, some kind of alloy. It's certainly not steel, but gets the job done. Some of these early rifles, the early models, shipped with a plastic front sight, and a lot of people didn't like that. They preferred the metal, even if it was just a pot metal or some kind of cheap alloy. To me, that wouldn't have been a deal breaker. You know, the sights aren't that good on this rifle, no matter what material they're made of. They're just kind of crude. It's a wide front sight. Of course, you do have a hood there that is removable. You can take that off if you want. Rear sight, again, just very basic. Just a flat leaf style sight with a notch cut in it. It does have an elevation ramp, so you can adjust your elevation. And of course, you can drift it left or right for your windage. What I'm probably going to end up doing is putting a Skinner sight, the drill and tap Skinner sight, on the receiver, or the receiver cover, I should say, and the high vis sight on the front. You can get that high vis sight direct from Henry if you want to. I'm sure some other places probably sell it. I think that'd be a good setup. Now what you're looking at here is actually not the receiver. I know a lot of people look at these little Henrys and think that that's the receiver. That's actually a receiver cover. As you can see, hopefully the camera's picking up the difference between the look of the receiver and the barrel. The barrel is blued steel, as I mentioned, blued steel, while the receiver is a zinc alloy, or what we refer to around here as pot metal. Since pot metal can't be blued, they've used a different finish. It looks like it's been painted or maybe powder coated. Can't really tell for sure, but it seems to be a durable finish. It is black, but it doesn't look bad. It goes in with the lines of the rest of the gun. It doesn't stand out like a sore thumb or anything. It looks pretty good. And up here we have the barrel band. It seems to be made out of the same material as the receiver cover, pot metal. Again, I think at one time these were plastic. A lot of people made a big fuss about it, so Henry switched over to this zinc alloy. Now, that's probably not any tougher than a good plastic would be, but people seem to, it goes over better just because it's metal. So I guess on a Western style rifle, people didn't really want to see plastic on it, and they'd rather see a cheap metal than plastic. To me, it really doesn't make any difference. It would not have been a deal breaker for me personally. To put it frankly, Henry used steel where they had to and cheaper materials where they could. And I'm fine with that because it makes a rifle affordable enough for me to go out and buy one. If they had used high quality steel, blued steel all over the rifle, it would be a much higher priced rifle than it is. As it stands, Henry has an MSRP of $360 on these rifles, but you can find them in the stores for under $300 just about anywhere. I paid $274 plus Kentucky tax for this one, which put it up to around $290 out the door. All right, so now that we got the boring specs over with, let's go shoot this thing a little bit. All right, so I don't have any shorts with me today, but I do have some of these CCI quiet rounds. These things have become my favorite target load down here at the range. Just a whole lot of fun to shoot. Load this bad boy up. Now, since you are working around the muzzle end, what I always do, check, make sure it's unloaded, of course, but I just leave that lever open. That way, no matter what, you know, this gun can't fire with the action open. So I leave the action open, pull the tube out. I just usually take it all the way out. Man, that's a shiny looking brass colored tube. Got the plastic follower. Let's drop some of these in. Now, it was March of '97 when Henry first shipped its first shipment of these H001 rifles. And here we are, March 2017, and I'm doing a video on one of them. I thought that was pretty cool. 20 years in the making. As you can see the top of that bullet there, or that cartridge. Drop your tube back in, give it a twist. Now when you close the action, we didn't pick a round up. So we've got the magazine loaded, but there's none in the chamber. Once we rack the action again, now we've picked one up and we've got one in the chamber. The rifle also has a half cock position. Pull the trigger, let off the trigger, let the hammer down, and it'll stop on the half cock position. And that's kind of just kind of a safety. So you can carry the rifle fully loaded without worrying about it going off or setting it off. So now we're ready to shoot. We just need to cock the hammer. I love those little quiet rounds. Very, very little report. I don't know what the decibel rating is on them, but it's very, very quiet, just like it says. That allows the report of the steel ringing to just be really clear and loud. This microphone that I use is actually a background silencing microphone, so it's a lot louder. That steel's a lot louder than what this mic is even picking up. Now, I don't know how many of you guys have worked the action on one of these Henry rifles. They are as smooth as anything out there as far as lever actions go. The the craftsmanship and the old style all steel lever actions are they're worth every penny. They're high dollar and they're worth every penny. Henry saves money on this rifle They don't have quite the level of craftsmanship as the old vintage lever actions, like the Marlin 39s. Man, I love that rifle. But the action is every bit as smooth. So they pinched pennies where it counted, but everything that makes it a good rifle is still here. And you can feel when that rifle is empty, there's a lot less drag on the lever when you go to close it. So once you shoot this thing a little bit, you'll develop a feel, and you won't even dry fire on that empty chamber at the end. And if you do dry fire on that empty chamber, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. A lot of people just go nuts if you dry fire one of these. These rifles can take a ton of dry firing. If there was a problem with people dry firing on that empty chamber on that last round, Henry would probably put something in here to help us know, when that last round wasn't chambered. So don't freak out. Now, that doesn't mean that I would sit around the house and dry fire practice learning trigger control with this rifle. I certainly wouldn't do that. It's not good for them, but at the same time, a dry fire here and there is certainly not going to hurt this little rifle. All right, so now I'm topped off with some high velocity Remington Golden bullets. You'll notice the report is much louder. That action is just so smooth. Pretty cool. So, there you have it. Alright, so I've got 15 rounds of the CCI standard velocity loaded into the rifle here. And just for giggles, I want to see how tight a group I can shoot on that 9-inch steel plate there on the left. This is going to tell you more about my shooting than it does the rifle. The rifle is way more accurate than I can shoot it. But it may give you a general idea that this rifle is plenty accurate, especially for my intended uses, which is just plinking, and it'll be in the squirrel woods a lot. Plan on doing a lot of squirrel hunting with this rifle. So, let's get started. All right, so like I said, that's more my shooting than the rifle. Not a great group by any means, but that's 15 rounds, about the size of a baseball. So, and that's me just freestanding, not taking my time, but not really hurrying either. So, rifle is plenty accurate enough for me and my applications. And like I say, I am going to make a change on the sights. You guys will get a look at this rifle again when I get the Skinner sight on, and I'll probably go with that fiber optic front. So, it won't be the last time you see this rifle. Alright, so before I close this video out, I do want to talk about Henry's customer service. I read a lot of the forums and things about guns before I buy them, and Henry has an excellent reputation for customer service. I bought this rifle at my local Walmart. Hardly ever buy guns. It's been years since I bought a Walmart gun, but I bought this one at my local Walmart. And when I got it home, I noticed that this tang screw was damaged. It was as if someone had taken the rifle down and used the wrong size screwdriver, but since the rifle was new and never been taken down, I thought that I would just call or email Henry and see what they said about it. For me personally, I could have lived with the screw. This rifle's going to be beat around the woods and all sorts of places with me, I'm sure. It's going to get scratches, it's going to get dings. But I thought it would also be an opportunity for me to test their customer service so that I could relay to you guys what they said. I've got the old screw here. You guys probably can't see that very well, but I thought, well, I'll take a picture of it, email Henry. That was on a Sunday. They emailed me right back the next day, Monday morning, asked me for the serial number of the gun and my address. I received my new screw the following Friday. They just got it right in the mail, got me a new screw out, and there was no questions asked. It was that simple. For all they knew, I could have damaged that screw. I knew that I didn't, so I wanted to test their customer service, and they passed with flying colors. So, great rifle for under $300. My gun reviews, I've told you guys this before. I'm not here to sell you guys rifles. I'm here to show you rifles, handguns, shotguns, whatever it may be that interest me, and maybe offer you a piece of the puzzle if you're researching looking at one of these. And if you can find these under $300, which obviously they're out there, plenty of them. So to me, I would highly recommend it. That's really all I got to say, guys. I'll talk with y'all again soon.